Victoria Hayes stood in the hallway of Riverside Middle School clutching her phone. She was the CEO of Hayes Educational Foundation, and she wasn't supposed to be here. Not at 4:30 in the afternoon, not hiding behind lockers like some detective. But something had been nagging at her for weeks. Daniel Rodriguez. The night janitor she'd met 3 months ago during a late board meeting. There was something about him, the way he'd apologized profusely for interrupting, the way his hands had trembled slightly as he emptied the trash, the way he'd looked at the children's artwork on the walls with such tenderness. Victoria had built her career on instincts, on reading people, and every instinct told her there was more to Daniel's story. She'd started noticing things: how he always worked the evening shift, how he never attended staff events, how he'd politely declined the holiday bonus, saying someone else needed it more. Then last week she'd overheard two teachers talking. "Did you know Daniel takes the bus 2 hours each way? Poor man works here until midnight." Then I heard he has another job in the morning. Victoria's heart had clenched. No one should have to work that hard. So today she'd canceled her meetings, parked her Mercedes 3 blocks away, and waited at 4:45. Daniel emerged from the school's side entrance. He wore the same worn jacket he always did, carried a backpack that had seen better days. But what struck Victoria was his pace. He wasn't tired. He was hurried, purposeful, like a man on a mission. She followed at a distance as he walked 6 blocks to the bus stop, watched him check his watch repeatedly. When the bus arrived, he climbed on, and Victoria made a split-second decision. She ran to her car and followed the bus route through downtown, past the industrial district, into a neighborhood Victoria had only seen in grant proposals. The bus stopped and Daniel got off. He walked 3 more blocks and entered a small community center. The paint was peeling. The sign read, "Riverside Youth Program," in faded letters. Victoria parked and waited 15 minutes before going inside. The lobby was empty, except for an elderly woman at the desk. "Can I help you, dear? I'm looking for Daniel Rodriguez," Victoria said, trying to sound casual. "Oh, Danny." The woman's face lit up. "He's in the back with the kids. He teaches the after-school program. You a friend of his, something like this." The woman gestured down a hallway, last door on the left. "But be quiet, he's teaching right now." Victoria walked slowly down the corridor. She could hear voices, children's laughter, and then Daniel's voice, clear and passionate, in a way she'd never heard at the school. "Okay, everyone who can tell me what a metaphor is." She peered through the small window in the door. 20 children sat at mismatched tables, ages ranging from maybe 8 to 14. All eyes fixed on Daniel, who stood at a whiteboard covered in vocabulary words. A small girl raised her hand. "It's when you compare two things without using like or as exactly." Mia Daniel's smile was radiant. "So if I say her smile was sunshine, what am I really saying? That she has a bright, happy smile?" Said a boy in the back. "That her smile makes people feel warm," added another girl. Daniel nodded encouragingly. "You're all getting it now. I want you to write your own metaphors. Describe someone you love using a metaphor. Make me feel what you feel." The children bent over their papers, and Daniel moved among them, offering gentle guidance, praising efforts. His exhaustion was visible now that Victoria looked closely, the circles under his eyes, the way he leaned against tables for support, but his dedication never wavered. Victoria felt something crack inside her chest. She backed away quietly and returned to the lobby. The elderly woman looked up. "He's something, isn't he, our Danny?" "How long has he been doing this?" Victoria asked. 3 years now. Ever since his wife passed. The woman's expression grew sad. "Came in one day and offered to volunteer. Said he'd been a high school English teacher before, but had to take the janitorial job after the medical bills. The insurance didn't cover everything, you see." Victoria's throat tightened. "He volunteers. Every penny he makes goes to his daughter's education." The woman smiled. "Sadly, she's in her 2nd year at State University, full scholarship. But there's still expenses: books, housing, food. Danny won't let her work during school, says education is too important. So he works 2 jobs and teaches here for free because he says these kids need someone who believes in them." Victoria had to sit down. "Why doesn't anyone know about this?" The woman shrugged. "Danny doesn't want anyone to know. He's a proud man. Says he's not doing anything special, just doing what any father would do." Victoria sat in her car for a long time after leaving the community center. She thought about the foundation's mission statement, empowering education through action. She thought about the gala next month, where they'd spend $50,000 on a single evening. She thought about Daniel emptying trash cans at midnight, then teaching grammar to underprivileged children, then going home to sleep a few hours before his morning shift at the warehouse. She picked up her phone the next morning. Victoria called an emergency board meeting. Daniel Rodriguez was summoned to the principal's office at 10 a.m. He arrived, looking terrified, apologies already forming on his lips. "Am I being let go? I promise I haven't missed any areas I can work faster." "Sit down, Daniel," Victoria said gently. "You're not in trouble." He sat, his hands gripping his knees. "Daniel, I'm going to be direct with you. I followed you yesterday." His eyes widened. "I know about the community center. I know about your daughter. I know about everything, and I owe you an apology." His confusion was evident. An apology for not seeing you sooner. Victoria leaned forward. The Hayes Educational Foundation exists to support people who believe in the power of education. People like you, Daniel. You're not just a janitor, you're exactly what we've been looking for over the next hour. Victoria explained the foundation was creating a new position, Director of Community Outreach and Youth Education. The salary was $75,000 a year. The job was to expand programs like the one Daniel already ran to bring education to underserved communities, to mentor teachers and inspire students. Daniel sat in stunned silence. "I don't understand why me. Because you didn't wait for someone to give you permission to make a difference." Victoria's voice was thick with emotion. "Because you've been doing this work without recognition or reward. Because you believe in these kids the way someone once believed in you. And because every organization claims to value education, but you've proven it with every choice you've made." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "What about my daughter? She needs. Your daughter will receive a full foundation scholarship." Victoria handed him a folder. "Housing, books, stipend, everything. And Daniel, you'll have evenings free to actually spend time with her." Daniel broke down. Then this man who'd worked himself to exhaustion for 3 years, who'd sacrificed everything for his child and his students. He wept, and Victoria did too. 6 months later, Victoria stood at the back of a new community center. The Hayes Foundation had purchased the building and renovated it completely. Daniel stood at the front addressing a room full of teachers and volunteers. His daughter Isabella sat in the front row, home for the summer, beaming with pride. Education isn't just about facts and figures. Daniel was saying it's about seeing potential in people that they don't see in themselves. It's about showing up even when you're tired, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Victoria caught his eye and he smiled that evening as she drove home. Victoria thought about the foundation's old motto, empowering education through action. She'd thought it meant grants and programs and fancy initiatives. But Daniel had taught her something different. Sometimes empowering education means recognizing the people who are already doing the work, the ones who show up in worn jackets and tired eyes, the ones who don't wait for permission or applause, the ones who believe that teaching a child to love metaphors might just change the world. And sometimes following your instincts leads you exactly where you need to be. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about a teacher or mentor who saw potential in you when you couldn't see it yourself. Sometimes the people working quietly in the background are the ones changing lives every single day.